Let x is equal to a square root of 5 minus radical 24 minus radical 5 plus radical 24. Part 1 of this question is to find the sign of x. As we solved the previous question, we should make a comparison between those two components. لازم أعمل compare بين two components. Part 1, study the sign of x. To make a compare between those two numbers, we should make squaring. If we make a squaring, radical 5 minus radical 24, radical 5 plus radical 24, squaring, radical 5 minus, square is above the radical, we make a simplification, 5 plus radical 24. We know that 5 here we subtract minus radical 24, here we add radical 24. So by default this number is greater than this number. Okay, this equivalence to say that radical 5 minus radical 24 is less than radical 5 plus radical 24. So if we consider x, this is a small number with respect to this number. Small minus big, it's a negative. So the sign of x is negative. This is the first part of our question. Part 2, calculate x squared. X squared is equal radical 5 minus radical 24 minus radical 5 plus radical 24. We should not forget the power 2. We have a remarkable identity, a minus b to the power 2. So applying the remarkable identity, a minus b to the power 2 is equal to a squared minus 2ab plus b squared, where a is considered this number and b is considered as this number. So the answer is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. The square is above the radical, so we cancel the square and the radical. The square is above the radical, same reason. X squared is equal to 5 minus radical 24 minus 2. Here we use the rule radical a times radical b is equal to radical a dot b. One radical, those two numbers should be multiplied. We put a bracket, 5 minus radical 24, 5 plus radical 24, cancelling the square and the radical, which is equal to 5 plus radical 24. We have here minus radical 24 plus radical 24. Those two numbers are opposite, we cancel them. So x squared is equal 5 plus 5 is equal to 10 minus 2. Here we should use the next remarkable identity, a minus b into a plus b, which is equivalent to a squared minus b squared. We put a radical, a squared is equal to 5 to the power 2 minus radical 24 to the power 2. X squared is equal to 10 minus 2 radical. 5 squared is equal to 25. Square is above the radical, we cancel the square and the radical. X squared is equal to 10 minus 2 radical 1. And we know that radical 1 is 1. 1 multiplied by 2 is 2. X squared is equal to 8. The third part is to simplify the exact value of x. Simplify the exact value أو determine the exact value. أكيد هذا بده يكون deduce the exact value of x. We know that by part 2 x squared is equal to 8, and we know that we have a rule: x squared is equal to a, then x is equal plus radical a or x equal minus radical a. Applying this rule in our equation, x squared is equal to 8, this equivalents to saying x is equal to radical 8 or x is equal to minus radical 8. We have two values of x equal radical 8 or x equal minus radical 8. We want to know which value is accepted and which one is rejected. Since by part 1 we have x is negative, then the accepted value is minus radical 8. So x is equal to minus radical 8 is a true value of x. But we can simplify again radical 8, because if we make a prime factorization for 8, we deduce that 8 is equal to 2 squared times 2. So x is equal to minus radical 2 squared times 2. This is a 2 squared. So x is equal to minus 2 radical 2. يعني هون الاستنتاج اللي لازم نحن نفرضه او نستنتجه انه دايما انا لما بدي اعمل x squared او بدي اعمل لشي variable power 2 انا مضطر ادرس له الساين، لانه انا لما بدي ارجع اجيب الاكس، لاحظوا هون x squared is equal to 8, we have two values: x equal plus radical 8 or x is equal to minus radical 8. We have two values and there is no value of some real number in mathematics having two values, having two numbers. ما عندنا رقم في بقلبه two possibilities, we just have one possibility. So to obtain the exact possibility, we should study the sign of the given variable before we make a squaring for this expression or this variable. يعطيكم العافية.